Yesterday, here in our shul, on Shabbos, Parshas Kedoshim, I spoke to everyone about the question of the week. So, Rabbi, how does it feel? What a question. I remember very vividly how it felt 26 years ago when the foundation for this building was being poured. We found a VHS cassette of the cement trucks coming onto this property to pour the cement to lay the foundation for this building. The first Shabbos in this building was electric. And since then, so much. It's human nature to romanticize about the past, about the good old days. And of course, in anything, in any endeavor, not everything is great, not everything is good, but many things, so many things, were good, great, majestic, stellar. Homes are vessels that contain our memories. So how do I feel about this vessel and the fact that it is about to become rubble? I'm okay. I'm fine. And I think the reason why is that I'm busy packing. Now, full disclosure, I had practice. Age 23, leaving my house that I had lived in Baltimore since right after Bar Mitzvah. There were so many good times in that house, laden with the love of my parents, friends, joys, celebrations. Very emotional as well. I sat Shiva in that house twice. My mother died in that house. I dreaded the last exit from that house. But when the last mezuzah was removed and the phone came off the wall, as it did in the olden days, I was in the car, alone. And it was dark and it was night, and I knew that whatever was really valuable was not a memory gone by, not something to be forgotten. It was a reality. It was something that was in my boxes. It was something I was holding on to, never to be lost. I was not leaving behind the love of my parents. It was going with me wherever I would take it. And so, I stand here today of the same mindset. Now listen to this from Parshas Kedoshim. Rabbi Akiva taught us, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha zeh klal gadol b'Torah." This is the great principle of the Torah. And the Gemara in Shabbos, quoting Hillel, "My disonilach l'chavrech lo savid." What is distasteful to you, to your friend, you should not do. And it would appear that it's just referring to the mitzvos between man and man. But Rashi quotes the verse from Mishlei. Re'acha v're'a avicha al ta'azov. Your friend and your father's friend you should not forsake. Zu HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is Hashem. Do not violate his directives. Sharei alecha sonoi, because it is distasteful for you. Sheyavar chavercha al dvarecha, that your friend would violate your words. From this correlation of this verse and the fact that the friend that's being referenced here is Hashem, we see something very dynamic. And that is that our relationship to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is rooted and dependent upon our midos, upon our character, upon the excellence of our character. We can't do the mitzvos that involve Hashem if we will not have good character traits and behave properly and in a godly way with one another. Otherwise, if I'm lacking in that way, I will be a self-absorbed person. I can't love Hashem properly, and I cannot appreciate Hashem's love for me. It's the excellence of Bein Adam L'Chavero that enables Bein Adam L'Makom, that enables mitzvos between man and God. Think about our shul. The excellence of relationships generated by our shul. Here was the place where Kiddush was prepared lovingly in the kitchen. Friendships began and grew deeply. Celebrations, and yes, comforting others who were in a period of loss. Jobs, people got jobs here. Acts of kindness were done. Tzedakah was given, and tzedakah was given from one person to another, people who otherwise would not have known each other. They did not look the same. They were not of the same social circle. It's the shul that brought them together. It's the shul that was an engine of chesed, an engine of caring and connection, one family to another, one person to another. The other way is also true. Excellence of midos, character development, needs reverence for God and love of Hashem. If we won't have that, how would we be able to appreciate the value of another person? If we won't understand the value of Tselem Elokim, what it means to be created in Hashem's image, we can't appreciate the value of a person, more or less the value of another Jew. The shul was a place where we developed that reverence, that Yirah Shamayim, and that Avas Hashem, that love of God. That yearning for Hashem was created here, and it was so precious. How precious? Listen to the words of Chazal. Shir Hashirim Rabbah, Parsha Aleph, Os Beis. There was a man and a woman who were married 10 years without children. They went to Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. It's a period of halachic reckoning. What should we do? Should we separate? Rav Shimon Bar Yochai said, yes, you must separate. But the same way that you came together, b'machol or b'mishta, the same way you came together with celebration, with a party, with food and drink, you should separate in that way as well. They embraced his counsel, and they went and had a lavish seudah. And as sometimes happens when there's a lavish party, the husband became a little bit drunk. He gathered himself together and he says to his wife, Biti, literally my daughter, but here a term of endearment, honey, darling, Re'i, look, Kol chayfetz tov sheyesh li babayis. Look, find something good amongst all the things I have in my home. Utilio so v'lechi lebeis avich. Take it and put it in your father's house. You're going home to your father. Take something as a going away present. Whatever you want. What did she do? The Medrash says she waited. He fell asleep. She motions to her servants to pick up the bed that he's sleeping in and carry him lebeis Abba to her father's house. In the middle of the night, he wakes up. He's sober now. Biti, darling, hey Chananinasan, where am I? Amrale, she says to him, you're in my father's house. She says back to him, what am I doing here? Amrale, she says to him, V'lo kach amartali ba'erev, isn't this what you told me yesterday at night? You said, whatever is good in my house, take it as a going away present. That's what I want you to do. She looks and says to him, Ein chayfetz tov li ba'olam yoser mimcha. I have nothing better in the world than you. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. They went back to Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. V'omad v'hispalal aleihem. He stood up and he davened for them. V'nifkedu. And after 10 years of infertility, they had a child. To come and teach us that the righteous people have the ability to be able to ensure that those who are barren will be remembered. And then the Medrash continues, Harei dvarim kal v'chomer, all the more so, umayim basar v'dam, al sha'amar la basar v'dam shekamoso. A human being, this woman looks at her husband and says, I don't have anything in the world better than you. And a Yeshua comes. They're saved. Yisrael ha'machakim liyeshua HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chol yom, the Jewish nation that longs for Hashem's rescue every day. V'omrim ein lanu chefetz ba'olam elo ata. We've got nothing in this world that is good but you. Al achas kama v'chama, how much more so? If the yearning of a human being for another human being is that powerful, then imagine the yearning of Klal Yisrael for Hashem and how powerful that is. And that is what we were able to create here. We saw it. Sometimes we saw it vividly. Sometimes we saw it in a demonstrative way. Sometimes it was obvious. It might have been a ne'ilah. It might have been davening that was obvious. And then there were other times where that yearning was expressed by people in the shul and we didn't see it. We weren't aware of it. Like the man who came in here quietly on the morning of 9/11 and just sat down to daven to Hashem. I know people in the building. He poured his heart out at the most dramatic times and also at the calmest times, at the most subtle times. It was created here in our shul. That love of Hashem, that yearning of Hashem. This building will go down in one day, I've been told by the contractor. In 4 days, all of the rubble will be cleared away. In the period of 5 days, what will be here will be just dirt. It can't just be the block. It can't just be the drywall. It's what the drywall let us build inside it. All that yearning for Hashem, that longing for Hashem, that connection to Hashem. And that is intact and that's indestructible. So we go forth from this building, Be'ezras Hashem, to a larger, beautiful new building with our building in our hands. What we have built is in our hands. Everything that was built in this building is the very foundation upon which our tomorrow will be constructed. So join with me in packing for our journey. All that went before, packed so tightly, so reverently, unforgettable, attached to us, the foundation for everything that lies ahead. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bench us to continue to add so much to what we have already built.